Thank you so much. My name is Eliza Imana. I'm working on the project called What's Our Function in the goal called Manage a Business Organization. Within this project, I'm going to focus on different points. First of all, I will describe five major functions of management by clearly defining them as well as giving their specific examples. And those five management functions it will include planning, organizing, staffing, reading, as well as controlling. By moving forward, I will describe the three management styles by, by stating their strength, their weakness, as well as uh, providing the scenario. Those three management styles include directing, delegating, as well as discussing. So starting on the description of one major function of management, I can start on planning. As the definition, planning can be defined as the management function that involves setting goals or objectives and determining a course of action for achieving those objectives. Also, planning need that managers be aware of environmental conditions confronting their company and forecast future conditions. For instance, setting goals to meet or exceed equivalent employment opportunities, goals set by Equal Employment Opportunities Commission (EEOC). This can be done through allocating employee resources and delegating responsibilities, as well as spending realistic timelines and standard of complication. Also, I can move on organizing. By the definition, organizing can be defined as the management function that include developing an organization structure and apportioning each other to ensure the achievement of goals. For example, preparation of accounts, record keeping, making sales, quality control, inventory control, and others. So also I can say another function of management which is called staffing. Staffing is an activity of recruiting workers by assessing their knowledge or skills and then extending to them specific employment laws accordingly. Staffing in management has less to do with staffing and recruitment organization and more to do with inward hiring practices. The example of a management task associated with staffing includes staff orientation, recruitment, and selection. Also, it includes staff development and others. So, I can move to the fourth, which is called leading. Leading includes the social and casual sources of influence that's used to inspire action taken by others. With these, if a company have effective leaders, their subordinates will be excited about applying effort to accomplish organizational goals. For example of a management task associated with leading includes motivating employees and influencing their conduct to accomplish organizational goals. Also, leading focuses on overseas individuals like individual workers as well as team, also instead of tasks. Moving to the last function of management is called controlling. Controlling is a management function which involves checking current results against conjecture plans and making changes when necessary so that goals are achieved. For instance, there are some tasks that are associated with controlling which include major actual performance, setting standards, and taking corrective action in decision making. So as I finish to describe the function of management, let me uh, try to explain about the style of management. Firstly, let me start on directing. Directing is a management style in which managers instruct, guide, and oversee the performance of employees to achieve a given goal. In this style, you have to listen and follow what manager is telling you. Meanwhile, the manager tells workers what to do, when it needs to be done, as well as how to do it. There are some strengths of directing, which include directing. It provides structure to unstructured tasks. Through this style, readers used to use their knowledge and experience to be implemented by specific structures for others. Meanwhile, the skills and knowledge of readers implemented by employee and business to achieve the goal. Another strength of directing can be emphasize safety and security. This is because when employees are working under the control, they used to do work as they told them. For instance, in military, law enforcement, as well as in the construction. Also, moving forward, there are weaknesses of directing. So some of the weaknesses of directing include it restricts the initiative of a certain workers. This is because all employees will wait to do what manager will tell them to do. With this, no one will come with creativity or innovation. Another weakness, directing avoids the use of collaboration. This is because in this style, readers don't believe the power of collaboration. Instead, they believe their knowledge and experience is more valuable to the project. As a result, employees have to do them as manager told them. I can provide a scenario of this style of directing. I remember when I was an employee at a real estate company Limited that was doing photography things. Our manager used to direct using directing style. We were always doing what our manager was telling us to do and how to do them. One time, manager told us to take and edit 100 pictures in the graduation ceremony. This became a big issue when one of my colleagues took 150 pictures so that he can choose best 100 pictures for editing. Our manager said that he spent a lot of time for nothing while taking those additional 50 photos. So I can move to the second style, which is called delegating. As a definition, delegating can be defined as the shifting of authority and duty regarding specific functions, tasks, or decisions from one individual, or especially manager, to another individual. With this style, manager used to give some tasks to the employees on independently by doing them individually or using a team. So there are some strengths of delegating. First one, delegating best use human resource means effectively utilization of workforce. This is because when manager gives tasks to different employees, I think that employee skills can be a good result. With this, those employees can do a great thing to the company within a short period. Also, another strength of delegating is that it saves time for manager. This is because when employees are doing different tasks that they are delegated by manager will have more time for doing other things that are apart. So by the time delegating have different strengths, also it has some weaknesses. The weaknesses of delegating include lack of knowledge of employee skills. This is because sometimes manager can delegate tasks to the employee who don't have much skills about that task. As a result, tasks can be done in a wrong way. Also, there is another weakness of delegating, which is lack of trust. This is because some managers have no trust to their subordinates. With this, they try to do everything themselves without delegate their subordinates. Let me provide a scenario for delegating so that this can be understood well. I remember in 2018 when I was an employee at Kizura Fashion Shop, our manager used delegating style due to the way he used to share as tasks according to our skills. I remember the time we had more customers used to give and he used to give us different tasks where he gave one to sell man clothes, other to sell woman clothes, and another to sell shoes of both woman and man. So also I can move to the last style of management, which is discussing. Discussing, by the definition, discussion style is a style which involves learning through interaction. In this style, it's drilled by Socrates. The manager empowers critical thinking and delivery conversation by asking workers questions about the issue and opportunity or issue that should be resolved. There are also the strength of discussing. Those strengths include it increases strong working relationship between team members due to the way they used to work together more times. Also, it's useful for problem solving for a complex issue. This is because when more people share the ideas about issue, it can be a good thing than one person. Also, since it have different strengths, also it has some weaknesses. Some weaknesses of discussing include the process of making decision can be drawn out as everybody. For instance, information is expected to go to an agreement. Also, another weakness is that discussing can cause disharmony among colleagues whenever it's used incorrectly, especially if workers feel some ideas are listened to more than others. For instance, you can say, my ideas are someone's ideas are listened to more than mine. That can be an issue. Also, in order to understand them well, I can provide a scenario. The scenario that I can provide is when I was a teacher at College Amahoro, our leader used to use the discussing style. This is because every time when something was going to change to our school, he used to come and telling us to share the ideas according to the issue happened. For instance, I remember the time we faced the problem where students were gaining low scores in national exams. At that time, we shared the ideas and found that the reason is the outdated books. We were using outdated books. As a result, we provide the solution of buying the new books. And now, students are getting high scores in the national exam. So thank you so much.